point, 2 or 3 players whose contracts extend 2 or 3 years into the future on teams that are like, they're not really doing anything for us, and we got to pay them for 2 or 3 more years, whereas we could just be done with them now by bringing in Westbrook because he's an expiring deal.
But Max, that's my point.
You
keep saying humor me.
But you don't let me get to the end. That's why I'm saying humor me.
But this was on the table. This has been on the table the whole time.
Humor me, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so let's say that were available, hypothetically,
okay,
and a total rebuild was on the table for you. Which would you choose?
Rebuild.
See, that's what my point, Jay, is that might be the move anyway at this point.
Yeah, but you got to, in order to be able to rebuild, you have to get somebody to take Westbrook. Okay? You can't.
Well, he's done at the end of the year anyway. Just let him expire.
Yeah, but okay, so you let him expire. He's done at the end of the year, but
trade AD?
Yeah, but trading AD is not going to get you a total rebuild.
It's going to get you a lot, though.
Why am I going to take what you don't want?
So
there's a reason you don't want AD. Why would I want that? Same reason is the reason you don't want Westbrook. Why would I want that?
No, because AD is still, when he's on the floor, a valuable player.
What did you just say? When?
Right. Well, that's why he'd be available. That's why he'd be available.
So why would I give you all of my stuff to go get a guy?
What do you get for AD,
with a win?
Jay? What do you get for AD?
I mean, I don't think that's the question, Max. I think you can get a lot for AD.
You can get a lot, but is that going to help you rebuild?
Rebuild and right pieces. The main question, which Alan Yates yelled in my ear, which he has a point because we've been talking about this. Do you trust Rob Pelinka with the rebuild process?
I don't.
And me, over the history of watching him as a GM, I do not.
But was he really the GM or was it the de facto GM?
Well, regardless.
No, it's not a regardless because the Anthony Davis trade was already in the works because of Magic. Magic leaves, so that deal was already, conversation was already going on. Mm-hmm. So you get that based on giving up all of that. But since then, LeBron and them kind of came in and decided that they wanted their pieces in play. So has he really truly got to be the general manager yet?
So I will ask you as a Lakers fan, you sign up for another 5 years of Rob Pelinka?
It's too late. They already did. They already signed him to an extension.
Yeah, you can still void the contract and pay
somebody
I get it,
but
yeah, you can just give him the money.
I'm not give him the money, but I'm just saying.
Technically, I'm asking you as a fan. Are you willing to sit up here, even though you asked that legit question, as a fan of the Lakers, are you entrusting Rob Pelinka with the next 5 years of your franchise?
No,
Keith?
I'm not. I am not.
I don't know, Jay. And the reason I don't know is because I really don't know the inner workings yet of what Rob has actually done and haven't done. Because LeBron them been in the way. So I really don't know.
I mean, there are a lot of moves, man, with Danny Green and, a lot of pieces that Alex Caruso. There are a lot of moves that I would have pushed back on LeBron James.
But it was the owner who was signing off on everything. Jeannie was allowing it to take place.
Keyshawn, Jay, Will, and Max, much more coming up, ESPN Radio.
Anywhere fans go to cheer on their team, there are behind-the-scenes MVPs, ensuring everything is game day ready. We see you, Joe, fixing seats so every fan can enjoy every game. And Allie, who keeps her stadium running smoothly from the moment the first game starts to the last play of the season. At Grainger, you're our MVPs, and we're always here for you, with supplies and solutions for every industry and 24/7 customer support. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
O'Reilly. See better and drive safer with Rain-X Advantage wiper blades at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, purchase a pair of Rain-X Advantage wiper blades and get a $15 gift card after mail-in rebate, plus 2 times O Rewards points. Our professional parts.
On Sports Talk, we enjoy that smooth transition from football to basketball season. Point guard Wade Taylor tells us hard work in the fall has this team ready to go.
Coach Buzz has a game plan for us every day, just come in and work as hard as we can and control what we can control. So I feel like that will just carry on into this season,
Sports Talk from November through March and April. We'll keep you updated on Round Ball and College Station and all over the nation. Weekdays from 4 to 6 on Sports Radio 1150, The Zone.
It's Larry Shelby, previously on the Paul Finebaum Show.
Hey. I call your show the Fight Show. You want to know why?
What's that, Piper?
He calls your show the Fight Show, Paul.
The Fight Show?
Piper, tell her.
Because you let people go crazy.
Well, Piper, that's what keeps us in business.
It's the Paul Finebaum Show, powered by Polaris Fun Center. 2 to 4 weekdays on The Zone.
So many chores and so little time. If you feel this way too, WC Tractor is here to help. We've bundled up the most popular new Kubota tractors with the most popular implements and created ready-to-go Kubota packages for your convenience. Stop by any of our Kubota locations and take a test ride in our new affordable Kubota L3302. Neatly packaged with a loader, cutter, box blade, and trailer. Think of all the tasks you can conquer with a new Kubota tractor package. Come by or visit us online at WCTractor.com.
Texas is in a long-term drought, and Hargrove Crop and Ranch Insurance Agency is here to help Texas farmers and ranchers. Currently and actively involved in the farming and ranching industry, the agency started in 1983, is an Aggie and family-owned and operated agency aware of your needs. They're a statewide multi-peril crop and rangeland insurance agency providing coverage against drought on crops and rangeland. To find out more and check insurance deadlines, visit hargroveinsurance.com. That's the Hargrove Crop and Ranch Agency.
Texas Document Solutions.
How long has Smither, Martin, and Henderson in Huntsville had sharp copier printers from Texas Document Solutions? Office manager and legal assistant Marilyn Batterton.
Gee, I don't know. A long time. 10 years? Maybe more than that.
And Texas Document Solutions performance during all those years?
They've always come through. They've given us a good price. They've helped us get out of old leases. They've taken care of the equipment.
That's Texas Document Solutions. Better document imaging technology, better pricing, better customer care, and a good value, right, Marilyn?
Yeah, it's definitely a good value.
Texas Document Solutions. What's not to like?
They're great. They're always pleasant. They're dependable. Their machines are dependable. We'll just enjoy working with them.
If your relationship with your document imaging vendor is less than enjoyable, switch to Sharp from Texas Document Solutions. Call 979-775-5500.
Texas Document Solutions.
979-775-5500.
The strength of America, our values, our way of life hasn't just been won on the battlefield. It's won every day in our communities when we come together, extending hands of compassion, service, and hope to those who need it most. For over 100 years, the American Legion has been strengthening communities across our nation by providing life-saving help and support to our veterans and neighbors during times like we're facing today. It's what the Legion's all about. From blood drives to distributing food, from responding to emergencies and protecting the most vulnerable among us. Our mission is making America's communities stronger.
We are one family, and therefore we care.
We are the American Legion, veterans strengthening America. To learn how you can help, visit legion.org.
Aggieland, this is your home for Houston Texans football. The Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. You're listening to KZNE College Station Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on The Zone. Bryan police release a photo of a suspect in 2 weekend sexual assaults between Midtown Park and the Northgate District. That photo can be seen on WTAW's website and social media. BPD reports one person was attacked Saturday morning and another Sunday morning south of Villa Maria and between Texas and Welburn. BTU crews dealt with a pair of power outages yesterday. More than 600 customers in and near the downtown area were without power for about 1 hour yesterday afternoon. And yesterday morning, about 230 customers near Caldwell lost power for 1 hour after a crash where a vehicle struck a pole. Way before College Station's Academy store and the development known as Providence Park across the freeway from Central Park was a 175,000 square foot electronics manufacturing plant. There's new ownership of what originally opened in 1983 as the Westinghouse Defense Component Facility.
The seller, Bryan-based Oldham Goodwin Capital, acquired the property in 2016 after lying vacant after Westinghouse closed in 1999. They're getting a return of more than 5 times their original investment, according to a news release. And Oldham Goodwin will also be managing the building for the buyer, which is a Dallas-based real estate company. 4 life science companies currently occupy space. News release did not reveal future tenants, and Oldham Goodwin owns 25 acres in the area for additional development. Bill Oliver, 1620 94.5 WTAW.
Some parents of Bryan ISD students were invited to participate in focus groups this week as administrators continue gathering feedback on upcoming campus boundary changes.
Each campus principal selected about 15 parents that they confirmed could be there and then work with the parent to figure out which night they could attend. In total, it's about 250 parents.
Associate Superintendent Barbara Ibarra says this follows more than 400 stakeholders providing feedback. Next month, BISD will launch a community survey and hold more focus groups. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Hi, I'm Pat Sefcik of Sefcik Service Center, and I'm asking you to re-elect my lifelong friend Gabriel Garcia for Brazos County District Clerk. Gabriel is a graduate of Texas A&M University, a local business owner. Gabriel has proven his success as District Clerk and has served the office full-time to ensure the office runs smoothly and efficiently. We need Gabriel as District Clerk. I ask you to re-elect Gabriel Garcia for Brazos County District Clerk.
Political ad paid for by Gabriel Garcia campaign, Pat Sefcik, Treasurer.
Come experience the Warehouse at CC Creations, the world's greatest Aggie shopping experience. With 28,750 square feet, the Warehouse at CC Creations is the Guinness World Records title holder for the largest collegiate merchandise store in the world. We are your one-stop shop for your entire family to stock up on Aggie apparel and gifts. Shop in-store 7 days a week or online at thewarehouseatcc.com. Keep the tradition. Shop the Warehouse, located at 114 Holloman, just 1 mile south of Kyle Field.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. This Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HilcoSupply.com. Texas A&M football coach Jimbo Fisher says quarterback Connor Wigman should be good to go for this Saturday's game at Auburn. Wigman was one of several key starters who sat out last week's 41-24 loss to Florida with the flu. Fisher added that the locker room is still dealing with the ramifications of the outbreak. And staying on the gridiron, kickoff time for A&M's game against UMass has been set. The Aggies and Minutemen will face off at 11 a.m. on November 19th at Kyle Field. A&M men's basketball opened up its regular season with a bang last night, cruising to an 87-54 victory over Louisiana Monroe. The Maroon and White dominated from beyond the arc, shooting 42%, including 4 3-pointers from Wade Taylor IV.
It's exciting. Second game we played at Reed. The energy's there. The fans are there. We're just having a different mentality this year.
Wade led all scorers with 18 points, with Henry Coleman III contributing 14. The guys are back in action this Friday when they host Abilene Christian. A&M women's soccer has drawn an at-large bid to the NCAA championship, its 27th invite in the last 28 years. The ladies will kick things off at number 16 Texas this Friday in Austin. To get Coach's take, tune into the Aggie Soccer Hour with Coach G tonight from 6 to 7 on Gospel 97.3 FM. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
Do you love Aggie football? The Louis Bellina Show, presented by B&B Automotive and Superior Auto Service, 2 remarkable businesses, 1 great family. We love Aggie football, too. Every Monday at 2, it's Aggie Football Media Day. Jimbo Fisher live, thanks to T-Mobile. And every Wednesday, we listen into the players. Also, thank you, T-Mobile, the official 5G provider of the SEC. Check in with the Louis Bellina Show weekdays, 11 to 2.
If I'm going to do this, I'll need my news team at my side.
News team, assemble!
Howdy, Aggieland. Welcome to the SEC.
Our program will be built on 4 principles in which I talk about all the time: toughness, effort, discipline, and pride.
Dang it! I'm going to have to buy that boy cream cone.
And now I'm distracted on my point. What were we talking about?
It's bullcrap. All I care about is winning. Show me the dang baby.
You do it till they do it right, and then you do it till they can't do it wrong.
Go get him. Why are you dancing around? Eat him like he's a steak.
fits what TexAgs Radio is about. He fits into what the listeners are going to want. He's a pro on every level.
It's Nuño and the crew on TexAgs Radio. Right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
Hey, records on my demo.
Did you guys not get the memo? Supposed to have back-to-back #1 recruiting class ever. It's TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is the Go Hour, and that is presented by the warehouse at CC Creations. Maroon never looked so good with Maroon U. So I choose to take a positive approach in the beginning of this show because we're going to talk a little Aggie basketball here in a moment, but I can't not get into the big topic of yesterday. During the press conference, we find out that Anthony Hill decommits from Texas A&M, and all of a sudden he's already retweeting and liking things from the school 90 miles away. Good morning, Olin Buchanan.
Yeah, that was a kind of a punch in the gut. There's no other way around it. Not only is he one of the highest ranked, if not the highest ranked, I can't remember if he or Hicks is ahead, but one of the highest rated players in the entire state, the defensive player at a position of your greatest need on defense. So it hurts, and it hurts bad, and there's no way around it. And quite frankly, whether he goes to Texas or LSU or anywhere else, the fact that he's not apparently going to come here is a significant loss. Yes, a huge blow.
And by the way, this show and this company, we're not going to say anything poor about the young man like maybe some other sites did about guys that A&M was able to flip.
No.
It's unfortunate. There's still time. Nobody is signed anywhere. So, and I know A&M is going to recruit him hard, as they should. They absolutely should. And there's only one way to fix it, OB.
And that's start winning. But I think that may be too late.
That ship has sailed. But again, I'm going to tell you, if Connor here in these last 3 games puts up some nice numbers, maybe they don't get to bowl eligible. Maybe they win 2. Maybe they win 3. The season sucks. No, it's been terrible. Not excuses, they're just terrible. But if they can make you feel better about next year, then I think it not only keeps your guys here, it shows these recruits out there that are having some thoughts about A&M, like second thoughts. All right, well, I see where they're going.
Well, and that's that's what I thought Aggies want to know. And so my question to Jimbo Fisher in the press conference yesterday was, how are you going to keep this class intact? Because if you're really looking hard for a silver lining, the only thing could be is a lot of these true freshmen and redshirt freshmen, for that matter, have gotten extended playing time. They've gotten experience.
Yep.
And that's a good thing. So because of that experience, you're taking some lumps now, but that should – and we should learn, don't take anything for granted. But it would stand to reason that these guys with experience and with a year of growth to look more like college football players, that A&M could have a significant rebound as early as next season. But that would require you keeping the nucleus of this team together. And I mean not just a few. Well, there's a couple guys that they're know are gone.
Yeah.
But you got to keep the majority of that class together. And if you can do that, then you can maybe go into next year cautiously optimistic. That said, you got to find a way to keep those guys together.
Yep. So, a couple things to that. First off, perception, especially with social media and recruits, is reality, right?
Mm-hmm.
But just as a reminder, the University of Texas, who is having a much better season than Texas A&M, nobody can deny that. In the last 2 seasons, how many wins do they have?
About 10? I don't know. They had 5 last year.
They got 5 last year. They have, I think, 6 and 3 this year.
Okay. All right.
How many wins does A&M have in the last 2 years?
Probably the same.
Exactly. So now one arrow feels like it's pointing down, one feels like it's pointing up. But just 10 months ago, this is a school that went 5-7, and they were able to make something out of it. A&M, this is your chance to make something out of it.
Well, look, it appears that there's no way around the fact that it's going to be a recruiting class that's going to be a disappointment as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I say you've got to put everything you've got into keeping as much of this team together as possible. And then if you can come back and have a strong year, you can probably bounce back with a strong recruiting class, get back on track right away. It's funny, you're playing Auburn this week, and you want to become what Auburn was in 2013.
Yeah.
I don't know if you recall this. In 2012, Auburn was like 3-9. They made some changes in the coaching staff. They brought in some players, the main one being Cam Newton, and went on and not Cam Newton. Anyway, that was a different one. But anyway, they brought in some players. They made big changes to their coaching staff, and the next year they played for the national championship. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm saying
you're saying there's evidence that this is you can come back from this.
You look at Tennessee.
Sure.
The transfer portal enabled Tennessee to bounce back a lot faster than it appeared that they would. So you're going to have to be major players in the transfer portal.
If you're able to keep the core of this group together, they go from being the youngest team in college football to a pretty veteran team. Now, again, not that much experience because we learned with Ruben Fothery and Bryce Foster. This is their second year, but they still have some growing to do, right?
But players only, if they're good, they typically only play 3 years anyway.
Right. But that's what they'll be going into their third year. Hopefully, Evan and Connor are going into their second year, and others, right? So, you're talking about a lot more experience. Plus, and this is what I was trying to get at with Jimbo yesterday. Jimbo I asked about, has this season made you have to reevaluate everything you do top to bottom? And more what I was getting at is not only your offense, which we all know needs to change, but you have avoided the transfer portal. You've got 2 guys in 2 years. Does this kind of year, especially knowing that you could lose people, or you might get the linebacker, you might not get the linebacker you need to get, does it force you to go heavier into and I think it will.
But I absolutely think it will, and that's what you should do. Find the needs you have, linebacker, for instance, still offensive tackle. Find the needs you have and just go all out to fill them any way possible. And they've tried to do that before. They tried to get Wanya Morris from Tennessee, and he went to Oklahoma, so they took the consolation prize. I don't mean to be mean, but that's the way it is on Jameer Johnson. So, but I think they're going to be looking even more for that. I do believe that Jimbo Fisher is stubborn but not stupid, and I do believe that he will hire an offensive coordinator, and I think he'll be a guy that's going to call plays and make some significant changes in the offense. I believe that. And maybe, that will be just that move will be something that'll help you in recruiting and, really make a big difference in your offense next season.
No doubt about that. Hey, let's do here for a couple minutes, give some props to A&M basketball yesterday. When we were hoping and told that the offense, A&M's offense in football would be much better. Not that one game tells you much more, but A&M's offense looked better than A&M's offense against Sam Houston. Sorry, basketball's offense looked better against ULM than A&M's football offense looked against Sam Houston to start the year. It was nice to see some 3-point shots, right?
Right. They hit a dozen, which is more than they had in any game last year. Wade Taylor was just very aggressive in taking that 3-point shot. You can tell he's worked on it a lot. Dexter Dennis, the new kid, had a couple, I think, and then Hayden Hefner came in and bombed in 4 of them. So maybe that's the team you're going to see. Now, they made outside shots that were open, and ULM's not a great team by any means.
No.
I mean, they're overmatched, but you're supposed to dominate overmatched teams. When Appalachian State comes in, you're supposed to dominate them. You don't play lesser teams. Florida State got beat by Stetson last night in basketball.
And they weren't the only one.
Right. There are others. So
Oklahoma, Florida State.
Who did Oklahoma lose to?
Who did Oklahoma lose? They lost to somebody they shouldn't have lost to. Let me go
Anyway,
back.
While you're looking at that, the point is they went out.
Sam Houston.
Sam,
52-51.
Way to go, Sam.
Right? Props to Sam.
Beat them up, Cats. Okay. So
52-51. They outscored them in the final half, 33-25.
All right, Sam. I wonder if Savion Flagg's still playing for Sam. But anyway, so yeah, go out, and even if you're playing an overmatched team, show why they're overmatched.
Yeah.
And they did that, and they were a fun team to watch last year. They kind of picked up where they left off in that run to, not in, but run to the NIT finals last year.
Absolutely. All right, if you want to be a part of the conversation, we can talk basketball, we can talk football, we can talk sky is falling or optimism. Let's do it. You can do it multiple ways. 979-693-1150 is the A&B text line. A&B, a College Station branch of the Amarillo National Bank. Good Texas banking, the website, anb.com. Let's go behind the glass and say hello. Nick Savage, good morning, sir.
Howdy, good morning, y'all.
What's going on with you?
Oh, nothing. Just trying to keep up with the basketball team a little bit more than I normally do this year, especially because they look like they're going to be a fun team to follow. And kind of what y'all were just saying, if they can score like they did last night, and again, Louisiana Monroe, a little overmatched, kind of want to pump the brakes on the first game of the season. But if they get an offense going, this is going to be a fun team to follow.
Well, look, I love basketball. I think you know that. OB, I know you do too. Like, I can watch basketball all day. And the way Buzz teams play, when there's no offense, it can be frustrating. But the beauty is they're always in these games because of their defense. And now, if they have the offense, they're going to be a real player.
Well, I like what they did at the perimeter, but I also really liked what I saw inside. Last year it was Henry Coleman and keep your fingers crossed, right?
Right. Julius Marble.
Julius Marble is going to make an impact to this. I'm not saying he's going to go out and score 15 points a game.
He's a big dude,
but he's a big guy with a nice shot.
Can throw it
and
down.
Then Solomon Washington, the freshman, comes in. He's a physical guy, and they just have more of an inside presence too. So I think you're going to see an even more balanced team, but a team that's with better perimeter shooting.
What a good crowd last night too, right?
It was a good crowd. The students showed up.
Yeah.
And that was fun to see. It was a nice environment. So what's it going to be like whenever they have a really good team in visiting play? Because I think you're going to see I think there's every reason to put down NCAA tournament as a goal for this year, and it's not a pie in the sky one. But again, we've learned to be cautiously optimistic here.
Yeah, and by the way, the sky's falling crowd that is like, I feel like the non-Aggies like to pile on, but then there's Aggies that like to live in this misery. And let's just say this: it's going to look different next year, right? Is that a fair way? Like, we are very confident from the intel that Billy has said on this show, and just from what we're hearing, it's going to look different.
And just from common sense. Jimbo Fisher, he has the big contract. You know what? He knows. You think he doesn't see the same things we're seeing?
Of course he does.
And maybe this whole season has become a moment of clarity for him, and say, you know what? It is too big. The head coaching position is too big for to take on so many responsibilities in a game. I believe, now I don't know this, I'm telling you, I believe that they'll make those changes in the offense, and I think it'll be a good move.
I believe. Look, you guys can keep receipts. I know you do. I am not. I'm not off Jimbo. Look, he needs to change, right? And I don't believe that you can use, because somebody did one thing at one school when things were going south, that you can apply that same logic. I think people grow and change. Sometimes that's difficult for some, but I think this season has been enough of an eye-opener. It's been that bad to where, like, all right, we need to reevaluate how we go to work, what we do, and let's change it up. And maybe it's not enough for everybody, and it doesn't mean that Jerry Glanville's run and shoot from 1988 is coming here, but I do think it'll look different. And, unfortunately, the spring game, the wind game, which was a legit 30-mile-per-hour wind, that was a glimpse into what this offense really was, unfortunately. And we'll see how they look when things come.
I do think, and I'll try to be brief here, though, what we've learned is, though, with any football, don't trust anything but your own eyes.
Yep. Don't trust anything but your own eyes. All right, let's do this. Let's go to the News and Social Center. Emily Fiedler, good morning.
Good morning. How are y'all this morning?
We're doing all right. What's going on with you?
Nothing, just a couple things. First, we have the Aggie soccer team earned a bid to the NCAA tournament, and the first round is this Friday in Austin against Texas.
Go G.
And then we have an 11 a.m. kickoff for the UMass game. And then lastly, we have the men's basketball team with their 87-54 win over ULM last night.
I like 11 a.m. games at this point.
Yeah, just especially.
I'd like it on the road, but we're not
Yeah,
that's kind of disappointing. Wade Taylor with 18 points last night. 5 players in double figures. Of course, you'd expect that when you score 87 points. But, man, that was a fun team to watch last night. Fun game.
It was. All right, when we come back here on TexAgs Radio, we've got a fun little segment for you. It's called the Big Shot of the Week, presented by Big Shots Golf. Aggieland will do that. A couple of the regulars will be making an appearance on that one. Right now, we're talking Fargo's Pit Barbecue, 1701 South Texas Avenue. That's in Bryan. They're open Tuesday through Saturday, which means they're open today. And that's going to open here in a little bit less than 3 hours, 11 a.m. to 7 o'clock. Closed on Sundays and Mondays. Call them up to get your order in because they sell out quickly. 979-778-3662. 979-778-3662. They sell out on their specials early, so they encourage you to call and pick it up. Maurice will handle that for you. And then when you get there, Alan or Belender will come find it for you. So today is Tuesday. They got the rib tips, and they're only offered on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Once they're gone, they are gone. Jump on that. They've been a part of this community for 22 years. Football weekends, office parties, weddings, you name it. Fargo's is on 1701 South Texas Avenue. Without a doubt, the best barbecue in town. That is, without a doubt, the best barbecue in town, Fargo's.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. Blaine College is hosting the Texas 10th Court of Appeals on Wednesday. The court will sit in session beginning at 10 a.m. in the new Blaine Rellis Administration Building. Find more information on WTAW's community calendar at WTAW.com. Brazos Christian School is hosting a fall fundraiser at Big Shots Golf on Thursday, November 10th from 7 to 9 p.m. Purchase your ticket online at bcseagles.org. Hank the Cowdog author John Erickson partners with the Bush Library to bring you stories and songs featuring his new book, Ranch Weather. There are 4 sessions, November 9th through the 10th. Visit bush41.org for more information. The University Libraries has a new exhibit at Cushing Library titled Charting Texas, A History of the State Through Maps, on display through December 9th. Auburn Saturday starts at 3:30 with the Game Day Show brought to you by TexAgs. Join Dusty, Bryce, and Louie from 3:30 to 5:30 this Saturday. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Here's Brad Beard of Intercon.
If you have considered replacing the windows in your brick veneer home, you may have been told that it would be necessary to either remove the brick or tear up the inside of your window box. You need to know that Intercon replaces windows and brick every day, and we don't tear up anything except the window which is being removed. By installing windows every day, Intercon personnel have worked out methods which result in the replacement windows being at least as neat and effectively installed as your windows were when they were new. This means that Intercon can furnish and install replacement windows which exceed today's tighter standards for efficiency. They look and perform just as well as the best windows in brand new homes. Call Intercon or visit our showroom and we will furnish you customer references for homes you can look at and homeowners you probably know who can tell you that Intercon can solve your window problems without wrecking your home or your budget, just as we did theirs. Intercon will furnish a free quote and we won't pressure you to buy.
Whether you have new construction or an existing home, let the fine folks from Intercon help your home energy efficiency year-round. Call Brad Beard of Intercon today at 823-3639. That's 823-3639.
The biggest names in sports are on ESPN Radio.
Joe Davis, New Orleans Saints linebacker.
We just keep chopping wood, keep sharpening the axe day by day. When you have a good process, that's what you focus on.
Julian Love, New York Giants defensive back.
It's been good to leave your house or whatever on Monday, and you see a lot of people on the streets just walking wearing the Giants gear.
Joined now by the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, New Orleans Saints safety.
I think we got enough fight in us, and obviously we got enough football left, so I believe in us, no doubt.
Former Eagles safety, Pro Football Hall of Famer, Weapon X, Brian Dawkins.
It wasn't that moment that makes me want to rip his head off. It's just that he was in the other jersey. That's the way it works.
Curtis Martin, former Jets running back and Pro Football Hall of Famer.
I love having Key as a teammate. He was one of those guys who you knew you could depend on, no matter what, came hell or high water.
Listen in to ESPN Radio, weeknights and weekends on Sports Radio, 1150 and 93.7 FM.
All right, TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studios, the Go Hour. That's presented by the warehouse at CC Creations. Obie, I'm going to read you a really nice tweet that we got just a moment ago from Ben on Twitter. It says, shout out to Nuño, Olin, and Billy for grinding through the season, day-to-day beatdown. We can take a break and walk away. They have to talk about it 3 or 4 hours every day, work it every day of the season. A couple things about that. It is very difficult to walk away from this. Like, it does grind. But by the way, we get to do the coolest thing in the world, which is talk football, basketball, baseball, golf, whatever, right? Like, so it's not that big of it. It's not like working in a hospital maybe and dealing with some of those things you have to deal with. But it made me think. I know you've covered situations that are similar to this. Mm-hmm. I covered a situation that I think is similar to this not that long ago, in 2020. In 2020, coming off of 2019, the Astros had just lost in the World Series to the Nationals. The Rockets had come off, another 60-win season. James Harden, and you got Russell Westbrook had just been traded there. Chris Paul had just been traded away. And the Texans had gone up on the Chiefs significantly in the AFC playoffs. I think, what was it, 24-0, 28-0, whatever it was, right? And then for the next 12 months, James Harden and Russell Westbrook were out of Houston. They became the worst team in basketball. The Texans traded away DeAndre Hopkins for nothing and got rid of basically J.J. walked away and said, I've had enough here. Deshaun Watson demanded a trade before we knew some of the extracurricular things. So like what you thought you had a future, all walked away. And then the Astros were put through the mud by their own doing for the cheating scandal. And for the remaining time I was there, a year and a half, everything was negative when it came to Houston sports, and I couldn't use another sport to focus. Now, the University of Houston, which I don't root for, but they were the only thing going on in the city of Houston basketball-wise that was going good. But everything was a disaster. You lost every big name. Think about a Mount Rushmore of superstars that they lost in that time. DeAndre, Deshaun, they lost Bill O'Brien, which was a win. James Harden, which to me is a win, but still at that point scoring 30-plus points a game. Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul, and who else am I missing? Oh, and you lost George Springer and Garrett Cole, and you lost your manager, A.J. Hinch, and Jeff Luhnow, your general manager, all within a few months of each other. That, to me, is kind of similar feel, except they can still fix this situation. Not for this football year.
Yeah, and hopefully they will. And again, it starts. The whole key is keeping the nucleus of the class and the team together. I don't know if McKinley Jackson will go to the NFL draft, and if he does, I can't blame him.
Yep.
And I'll hope him for the best. But he hasn't been able to play a long time, so you don't know. Maybe his draft status is going to be 4th or 5th round like it was with Bobby Brown. Mm-hmm. And if he can play a season like he's played since he's come back, he becomes a 1st or 2nd rounder. I mean, he's really playing well since he's come back. So, so maybe the NIL gods will shine some, brilliant light on McKinley Jackson, some other people to, see if they stay.
By the way, as a reminder, it is Pass It Back Day, and it's the Association of Former Students. It's their way to help provide support for A&M and its current and former students. And you know how many people have gotten scholarships and student assistance programs. So they're here to connect with students. So if you want to be involved with Pass It Back Day, you can help out on social media, or you can fill out a quick form there on their website. Many different ways to help out on Pass It Back Day. We'll be talking to several Aggies today from the association throughout the show. So make sure you help out with Pass It Back Day. It's a fun day to help out the Association of Former Students. Now it is time, my friend, to do the Big Shot of the Week, presented by Big Shots Golf Aggieland, located in the new Travis Bryan Midtown Park with the new weekday 12-on-1 deal that's only going to be around for a little bit longer. You've got $12 tee boxes per hour, $1 wings, and $1 domestic drafts Monday through Thursday and all day Friday till 5 p.m. Only for a limited time. Book now at BigShotsGolf.com. OB, let's begin with Devon Achane, who
the big shot of the year.
Well, and look, this poor guy. How many? I know he got more touches, but how many times did he run the ball in the second half? 3?
I think it was 5.
5.
Maybe it was more than that. I don't know. It wasn't a lot.
There wasn't yet, but he when he goes, this team goes, man. He is so special, and I hate that we're wasting his specialness on this particular season. love for him to consider coming back, but I get it. He's got a future in the NFL, no doubt about it.
Yeah, you saw that very first play that was not blocked, and he just made it to a 65. That was all on him, 65-yard run. The kid has been just phenomenal since he's been here. Kind of quiet. He doesn't make a lot of noise except when he's running the football. And then he inspires a lot of noise because you see the way they cheer for him. And he's just so special. And you just wonder, what could he do with a more effective offensive line and a more effective passing game, which is getting better. The passing game is getting better. But what if you had a more consistent passing game where, like we thought we'd have with defenses not being able to kill? Because that's what happens in the second half. Teams adjust and they just key on him, and it makes it much more difficult.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Let's continue on here. We go to the second one, McKinley Jackson, who you talked about earlier. When we watch him in the game, we're like, he's just, anytime there's a good play, McKinley Jackson's usually involved.
Well, I think he had maybe 2.5 tackles for loss, and that's without any sacks last week.
There's one right there.
And, he doesn't play. They like to really rotate their linemen in and out. It seems like in the old days your starters played more than they do now. When he's out there, he wreaks havoc.
He does wreak havoc.
He's a good player.
Yeah, and look, I know the defenses really struggle stopping the run, but it's such a clear difference though when he's out there and when he's not.
It's not on McKinley.
It's certainly not. And we'll give the last one to Evan Stewart, because statistically he had a couple drops and he'll have those, but his big plays are always there. In the game, OB, 8 catches, 120 yards.
Yeah, you just hope he gets a little more consistent with his hands. I'm sure he will. Again, no matter how good you are as a true freshman, you're still a true freshman.
Yeah.
And you figure to get better. Now, can I give a right-end candidate?
Sure.
A guy that needs.
I think I know what you're going to say.
You tell me.
Moose?
No, I was going to say Moose.
Moose had 99 yards.
I know. But I'm going to say somebody. Max Wright.
Max Wright had a big one.
Max Wright had 5 catches, which, career high. But they weren't all just easy catches. I mean, he made some really difficult snags at that tight end position. I think that Max Johnson was a big key to A&M's success in that first half.
All right, let's do this. Let's hit a break. When we come back, Shireen Williams will give us her perspective of the things going on with A&M. Also want to ask her some NFL things. There's a lot of stories there. How about Tom Brady? Another comeback for him. But right now we're talking Caprock Health, your highly personalized emergency care place here in the Brazos Valley. They put the patient first in every decision that they make, and they've got a very unique one-to-one patient-to-doctor ratio there that they want to make sure that you are being taken care of, and they know your individual needs because they have a very low patient-to-doctor-nurse ratio. And they're just a great place to go when you're in a terrible situation. You don't want a terrible situation to just feel worse, right? You go there, they're hotel quality rooms when you go stay there, and if your stay needs to be a little bit longer, they're going to take care of it. Every aspect of your stay. They are so good when taking care of this community. They are 100% locally owned and operated, and as I've mentioned several times, their sole purpose is to make you feel better, get you out of there as quickly as possible. 2 state-of-the-art locations designed for patient healing and family friendliness. You've got Caprock Hospital in Bryan and Caprock 24-hour emergency center in College Station. They both have 0 wait times for emergency care, so you'll never have to sit in a crowded waiting room. It is Caprock Hospital in Bryan and Caprock 24-hour emergency center in College Station.
It's the one show in the world that talks Aggie football, Star Wars, and progressive overload at the gym. It's TexAgs Radio with Dave, Olin, and Billy here on The Zone.
You know us through the Aggie Ring and our work helping current and former students. You also know that we work to uphold our traditions and help bring Aggies together around the world. We are the Association of Former Students, and it's our mission to provide resources, support programs, and cultivate the experiences that you know and love. But have you ever stopped and wondered why? Why does the association support Texas A&M and Texas Aggies? Why are we always here, there, and everywhere for the Aggie Network? Why do we tirelessly work to ensure that the Aggie experience is both unforgettable and life-changing? Well, you may be surprised to learn that the answer to why is as unique as your own Aggie story. That's why we created IamTheWhy.com, a place for shared Aggie stories and unique perspectives. It's where you can hear the why, see the why, and discover why Aggies like you are the why. Visit IamTheWhy.com today.
Since 1957, Slovacek Sausage in Snook has been making the best tasting sausage in Texas from the same family recipe. Slovacek is the official sausage of Texas A&M athletics. Whether it's from the grill to the family gathering or from the pit to the neighborhood party, serve the sausage voted best in the Brazos Valley. Serve Slovacek. Be sure to come in and check out their full-service meat market, relax on the front porch, or grab some fresh kolaches from their bakery on your way out. Slovacek Sausage, Highway 60 in Snook.
Come experience the Warehouse at CC Creations, the world's greatest Aggie shopping experience. With 28,750 square feet, the Warehouse at CC Creations is the Guinness World Records title holder for the largest collegiate merchandise store in the world. We are your one-stop shop for your entire family to stock up on Aggie apparel and gifts. Shop in-store 7 days a week or online at thewarehouse@cc.com. Keep the tradition. Shop the Warehouse, located at 114 Holloman, just 1 mile south of Kyle Field.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Calzada Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Casasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Everything in life has rules, and the Zone has prize rules for all contesting. You can check them out at zone1150.com. You may know you can win once every 30 days. There can only be one winner per household per month. You have 30 days to pick up your prizes. You have to be 18 or older to win. You have to present a legal ID to claim your prize. All prizes are non-transferable and not for resale. To make sure you do know all the rules, or if you have any questions about the prize rules, make sure to visit zone1150.com. Zone1150.com.
I'm through with standing in line. The clubs I'll never get in. It's like the bottom of the ninth, and I'm never gonna win this. Life hasn't turned out quite the way I want it to be. Tell me what you want. I want a brand new house on an episode of Cribs.
Obi, is this one of your jams?
No, I don't think I've ever heard this. I don't listen to a lot of the young country, modern stuff. I think it's kind of...
This is Nickelback. I wouldn't
that's
quite...
Nickelback?
Yeah,
See,
I wouldn't quite...
What, is it a Nickelback country song?
No.
All I know, if I went to a...
I didn't like his tone there, did you?
Yeah.
That's like... Well, this is like one of their most popular songs, I would say.
That's the most popular. Huh? Seems if I went to one of those concerts after it was over with, I'd say, can I have my Nickelback? How bad was that?
Yeah, well, not as bad as this song. It's TexAgs Radio. Sorry for the Nickelback, all 9 of you that are big fans. TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is the Go Hour presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. I'm assuming that our Hall of Famer, our next guest, isn't jamming Nickelback in her car at the moment, but maybe she is. Shireen Williams joining us. Good morning, Shireen.
Good morning. How are you guys doing today?
Are you team Nickelback or not so much?
I used to like a little Nickelback back in the day. I forgot about them. Like, they just fell apart.
Kind of like a certain football team program.
Good segue right there, right? We just talk about the Astros today. How about the Astros?
So how was
it? I got my
it?
Astros flag flying high in Arlington, Texas. My HOA complains about it jokingly. Complains about the Astros flag. I've already ordered my championship flag, got it out there. So I have to admit, I took down the Aggie flag to put up the Astros flag, but they deserved it. World Series champs.
Do you fly your Aggie flag at half mast?
Well, yeah.
I guess it's half staff on land.
Right? Yeah. Guess it has to.
Sure. Shireen, I don't even know if rock bottom is the right way to phrase it, but the way things are feeling with 5 stars saying nah, and the way the team is losing and flu and everybody's gone for a game and got to wait another week to see more of Connor Wegman. Just your thoughts on the state of this program right now.
Yeah, I was driving down there Saturday morning and saw the Wegman news and said, well, I guess we could turn the car around and go back home. It did come, but it was pretty obvious out of the second half when I saw the 3 and out how the second half was going to go. And I turned to my friends and said, we can probably go right now because this is not going to go well. And what I've seen the last 2 weeks that's been encouraging and discouraging at the same time is you get the 2 early scoring drives right off the bat, boom, boom, boom. That tells me I assume that this coaching staff, that Jimbo's like every other coaching staff, and they script plays. I'm guessing that most of those first 2 series are scripted, and they do great off the script if that's the case. And then after that, not so much. So maybe they just need to script the whole game and forget not worrying about how it goes or whatever. They're really good off the script if that's what they're doing those first two drives. Look great back-to-back weeks off those first two drives. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. It's discouraging. It's not fun. It's frustrating. And I know that those coaches and players are feeling the same way right now. So I hope they can hold this thing together for next year. I mean, there's some promising things that if you can hold some of these best players together for next year, that you think next year is going to be a better year and could be a good year. If you look at what some teams have done with the quick turnaround, the TCUs and the LSUs. So, it's possible, but it is discouraging right now. And there is the sun has not come out here. I don't know if it's come out there, but it's a little overcast, and that's the way this feels.
It's not gray clouds here. It's smog. It's pollution that's choking you. But defense. Well, you just talked about scripted play on offense. So, what do you do with that defense? Shireen, help us.
I don't know what the answers are. I know missing a lot of players on defense. I get that, but you got to find a way. You got to find a way to stop the run, and you're just not going to win many games. Obviously, when you're giving up 400, 300 yards rushing every week, I mean, it's just too easy for teams to go right down the field and do what the two teams the last 2 weeks have done with the running game, and you got to figure out a way to stop that first, and then figure out after that what they're going to do to counter that. But it's just been too easy for those offenses, and no turnovers. I don't know. You guys have the numbers better than I do. I don't know how many turnovers. There have been very few sacks and turnovers. Let me just say that. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but few sacks and turnovers this season, and that's a big thing on defense. And that's how we play defense, is sacks and turnovers, and we're not getting those. And until you get those, you're probably not going to be a real good defense. Stopping the run, sacks, turnovers.
More fumbles than you might think, but only 2 interceptions, and not a big pass rush. And coming into the year, that was a big concern. Yeah. Where are you going to get it? I'm only half joking here when I'm saying against Auburn, which does not throw the ball well at all.
Yeah.
Go to bring off the old-fashioned 5-2.
Right.
Yeah. Durkin always wants to have a nose guard anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Desperate times, right?
And I wouldn't be opposed to that. You got to load up. I mean, you got to put more men in the box, whatever it takes. And if they can beat you in the past, they beat you in the past. To me, that's the strength of that defense. When we're healthy and when we're not having targeting calls, it is the secondary. So you got to trust them to go one-on-one and make some plays back there and load up in the box and stop the run. Initially, you have to stop the run. If you're not going to stop the run right at the beginning, if you're just going to let them go run right down the game, right down the field to open the game like Ole Miss did, it's going to be a long day. Like, you can't do that. That's what you got to do first. You got to stop the run first, and then you worry about everything else. All right, now they've completed some passes. Now they've thrown a 50-yard touchdown pass. Now we've got to worry about the pass too. But stop the run first. That's got to be your first thing. If you can't do that, it's nothing else is going to happen in the game. I mean, you're just not going to be very good.
Shireen, I got some NFL questions for you, but I'm going to flip the script today because I feel like sometimes we have to rush through Aggies in the NFL. So let's go straight to that. Aggies in the NFL. Tell us some thoughts on those.
Yeah, and today's not probably the best day for that because it was not a good weekend. It's kind of like the Aggies football weekend. There just wasn't a lot to choose from between off weeks and down games from players. But I'm going to give Isaiah Spiller a shout-out because he played his second game, but it was the most snaps he played. He played 4 snaps in Week 7, played 13 this week, and actually got 7 carries for 29 yards. So he's starting to get some playing time, hopefully get a chance. Von Miller, 2 tackles, a sack, and a forced fumble. But it was not a great week for him at the end of the game, not a great week for the Bills and losing the Jets and giving up a late lead. So not a great week for Von. He promises to do better going forward. Christian Kirk, number 1, 8 catches, 76 yards, and a touchdown, and they beat the Raiders, and that's about it. There's not a lot there. Ryan Tannehill still is out for the Titans, as you saw on Sunday night. They need him back in the lineup for the Titans to have a chance to win.
Hey, Shireen, I asked you about it last week. They had the bye week. Here it comes, Cowboys and Packers. Packers are in shambles. Cowboys, this should be routine win for them, but it's never routine in the NFL.
Yeah, it should be a blowout if they do what they need to do and come out of a bye week. And, McCarthy's got him fired up. I don't care, how much he says. I mean, you could see in some of his emotion yesterday. This means a lot to him. And Green Bay is a special place. He still has a house there. It's where he'll probably retire to, all those things. So it's an important game for him. And I think the Cowboys win this one pretty easily. And if they want to stay close to the Eagles, that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to stack up wins. They're going to have to match wins. And I think we pumped the brakes a little bit on the NFC East. Is the greatest division of all time. Well, let's look at who they play. They play the AFC South, and they play the NFC North. So they've really stacked up wins against some very bad football teams. That's what it's boiled down to with the way the division has stacked up. But having said that, you play the schedule you're dealt, and you have to beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. This is one the Cowboys are supposed to win. They need to go out and win and take care of business early.
I've learned over the years I'm never going to just assume an easy win, but especially against the Packers if you're a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, well, you always have Aaron Rodgers, right? I mean, that's what you worry about. But then you look at the injuries that the Packers have had over the last week. Rashawn Gary's being out. It's going to kill them. The receiver position, they're already didn't have any good receivers, and now they have fewer receivers than what they had before. They're not very good.
I know.
But
Bakhtiari's in and out of the lineup. All those things. I know.
Yeah.
But the Packers have ruined my life too many times.
Right.
I get it.
Shireen, so I didn't watch the Bucs game the other day, but I was seeing all these tweets about Tom Brady's done. So I watched in the press conference yesterday, and I was like, hey, how did that game end up? It's like, oh, he came back again. He did the Tom Brady thing. How about that? Is he done, and what just clicked in that game towards the end?
Well, Tom Brady was Tom Brady in the last drive. They hadn't done anything all day, and they went to the hurry up, obviously, and did it in 35 seconds, whatever it was, pretty quick, right down the field. Now, you can talk about that defense that the Rams played. It wasn't very good, obviously, in the final 35 seconds, but Brady got it done and looked a lot like Tom Brady, and maybe that clicks for them. Maybe they needed something just to click and say they've had a ton of injuries. That's number one, but they just haven't played very well. He hasn't played very well. I did think he was there. I thought he and Rodgers both at the end of the season would retire. I still think that's a possibility. He just hasn't looked like himself except for that one drive this season, and we'll see if that turns him around. Sometimes that's all it takes, right? It takes a win. It takes one drive. And you have fun again. And I said that during that game. To me, he hasn't looked like he was having fun this year. And in that last drive and in the post-game press conference, he obviously looked like he was having a ton of fun. Maybe that's what this team needed. Maybe that's what he needed. Maybe that propels him to play another year this year. They're going to win that. Should win that division because you look at they're in first place and have a losing record. So it's going to take many wins to win that division. And I think the Bucs still win that division and get in the postseason. And it's kind of what you were talking about, Olin. Do you want to play the Buccaneers and Tom Brady in the postseason? I don't think so. No, you don't. I don't care what their record is. You don't want to play them in the postseason.
Shireen, one last one for you. Got about a minute left. Jeff Saturday. What? What happened there?
Oh, my goodness. I don't know. I would suspect that's not going to turn out real well. It's different playing in the NFL and coaching in the NFL. And to take somebody that's been a high school coach and that's it and pull him in and expect him to go coordinate an NFL team, I just don't think it's going to work very well. So right now the Colts are the laughing stock of the NFL. Sort of feel sorry for Sam Ehlinger. I hate to say it, but I sort of do because, he's going to remain as a starting quarterback with who knows who their play caller is going to be because they fired their offensive coordinator last week. So they had no play caller right now. They're interviewing people to be the play caller. So maybe you can come off the street, just be a play caller if that's what you're interested in.
That is Shireen Williams, Pro Football Talk, Aggie Great, and, of course, a Hall of Famer. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, guys.
All right. OB? I think this is it right now because we're turning it over to our friends there at Pass It Back. We'll talk to them, and it'll be a fun little segment here. We're going to have Cole Murphy, class of 23, representing the association, to talk about his perspective of the association as a student. We'll do that as it's Pass It Back Day here on TexAgs Radio.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. Through various USDA-funded grants, the Battleground to Breaking Ground program provides 15 tuition waive spots per cohort for veterans, active military, and a select number of other beginning farmers and ranchers. Applications for the next cohort are being accepted through December 5th. Contact Texas A&M AgriLife for more information. Friends of Chamber Music announces its 27th concert season. Find a full schedule online at fcmtx.org. Do you need help with a Thanksgiving meal? Receive a hot meal from Thanksgiving in the Brazos Valley this year. Register by November 21st at uwbv.org/holiday. Submit your nonprofit event by email to news@wtaw.com. You can hear the Aggies take on Auburn this Saturday with the pregame show at 5:30 and kickoff at 6:30 on the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM and online at radioaggieland.com. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
My doctor told me my cholesterol is borderline, so I took control with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula. Garlic helps maintain healthy cholesterol safely and naturally. It's odor and taste-free, and Garlic is a world leader in garlic potency. I'm taking charge of my cholesterol with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula, cholesterol's natural enemy.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
Take your shot at the Precision Rifle Expo, November 19th and 20th at CCC Shooting Complex in Navasota, Texas. Try out the top equipment used by the best long-range shooters and hunters in the country, including night vision and thermal optics. Get expert instruction and take your shot on ranges beyond 1,000 yards. Many exhibitors will have products for sale. Aggie fans, get in free with your ticket to the A&M versus UMass game that same weekend. The Precision Rifle Expo, November 19th and 20th. For tickets, visit precisionrifleexpo.com.
This holiday season, above all, love. Hello, this is Captain Timothy Israel from the Salvation Army of Bryan College Station. Join our effort to put love above all else when you volunteer as a bell ringer at one of our red kettles. We are looking for individuals, families, businesses, and organizations who want to show our community that love exists beyond hardships. When you volunteer to ring, we can provide more help and hope to local families in need. Sign up to be a bell ringer today at salvationarmybcs.org.
On Sports Talk, we enjoy that smooth transition from football to basketball season. Point guard Wade Taylor tells us hard work in the fall has this team ready to go.
Coach Buzz has a game plan for us every day, just come in and work as hard as we can and control what we can control. So I feel like that will just carry on into this season,
Sports Talk from November through March and April. We'll keep you updated on Round Ball and College Station and all over the nation. Weekdays from 4 to 6 on Sports Radio 1150, The Zone.
All right, it is TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. As I've been telling you all day long, it is Pass It Back Day. It's the 7th annual Pass It Back Day. Aggies love helping out other Aggies. Great opportunity for you to give back to the school you love so much with 24 hours of giving. Randy, what's the goal this year? Yell it out loud. 5,000. 5,000. I know they hit 6,000 last year, so let's go above that, guys. Make sure you visit tx.ag/passitbackday to give it back. We got Cole Murphy, class of 23 here, who's representing the association today as a student in student organization. It's been supported by the association, executive chair, class councils. What's going on, Cole?
Not much. Just hoping to help get some money for the Aggie Network so that way our students can be impacted by our former students.
So I made a joke with you when you walked in. You were like happy and smiling. And I'm like, dude, I'm not used to that because of the way Aggie football's been going. But you're like, I'm just a happy guy. And then Randy reminded me of my tweet this morning that I had it raining. No, the rain's not about Pass It Back Day. The rain's about Aggie football, but we have something good here because Aggies are good and we love giving back. So how has the association impacted you?
So me personally, coming into school freshman year, I was really worried about being able to succeed at A&M. But one of the things that the association does fund is supplemental instruction for some of our freshman classes. And so that really is free tutoring for our students. It's taught by an upperclassman who gets an A in the class, selected by the professor, and they pour into our freshman students to help them succeed and get an A in that class, and I did.
All right, so talk to me a little bit about class councils.
So Class Councils is one of the oldest organizations outside of the core here at Texas A&M. We house the 4 class presidents of Texas A&M, and our whole purpose on our campus is to promote class unity and class affinity. So we do this through doing our different traditions. So we have 5 within our organization, but we also do class programming and then class merchandise sales.
Okay, so I'm looking at some of these notes. 4 classes all have their unique traditions too. Let's kind of go through those so people get the kind of a feel.
Yeah. So for our freshmen, we keep it simple. We call it Fish Fest. It's just a celebration of their freshman year at Texas A&M. And so it can range from a party on Kyle Field Plaza to anything the freshman class wants it to be. It's really supposed to be a time for our freshmen to unite and to celebrate completing their first year at the best school in the world.
Okay, and then you got sophomore, which is pull-out day. What's that?
Yes, so that stems from Old Army. So when an underclassman pulls out an upperclassman rank, it's called pulling out. And so at the end of your sophomore year, you of course have to practice your whoop for the first time, so that way going into your junior year, you have it loud and strong. And so that tradition's really built around becoming an upperclassman and making that transition from an underclassman to an upperclassman.
Legacy for the juniors.
Legacy Night is one of our newer class traditions. It's built on the notion that as we enter our senior year, it's the time that we really define ourselves as individuals, and we go out into the world the senior year. We go and look for jobs. We determine what's next for our future. And so it's really geared around uniting as a class as we look towards what's past A&M. We use it as a time to reflect on what came before us.
And then the big one, senior, obviously, elephant walk and ring dance. We know it, but just break it down.
So elephant walk stems from Aggie football. So hopefully this year we can break that losing streak with our elephant walk this year. But it is a time for our senior class to walk around campus and reminisce on their time here at A&M. We go through to admin building, to different buildings around campus that truly impacted our time here at A&M. And it's just a time for the senior class to reflect as we go into our last semester.
So I'm seeing that last year the association provided $15,000 to support traditions there. Just here in the last minute of the show, just of the hour, just what is your plea to folks to why they should help and why it's so impactful?
The impact that your dollars give to our current students, it provides a better experience for them than you could ever imagine. The money that you're able to donate to the association directly impacts our students, and it provides them experiences that they never think they could have before.
Cole, we appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Keep that smile going. We need it here in Aggieland. We need it right now. Basketball's back, Pass It Back Day, you name it. tx.ag/Pass It Back Day. Go help out right now. We'll be back in a few.
Make the Bellucci Hour a part of your Aggie football game week. Every Thursday, 1 till 2, Billy Lucci of TexAgs joins me. Hi, I'm Louis Bellina, and it's the Bellucci Hour brought to you by Dos Equis. Enjoy the college football season with your friends and a cold, refreshing Dos Equis lager. Get a dose. It's the Bellucci Hour. It's a maroon and white world, and Billy's here to help us get through it. The Bellucci Hour, every Thursday at 1, a part of the Louis Bellina Show.
Learning your child has cancer causes an emotional and financial crisis. Often, the best place for treatment is far from home. But with the help of the National Children's Cancer Society, children battling cancer can get to life-saving treatment, whether it's across town or across the country. To learn how we give families hope and give their children the best shot at survival, visit thenccs.org. That's THENCCS.org. Because no family should go through childhood cancer alone.
We love beer, steak, Aggie football, and your community. Hang out with Louis Bellina, weekdays 11 to 2 on the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. This is KZNE, College Station Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. Bryan police release a photo of a suspect in 2 weekend sexual assaults between Midtown Park and the Northgate District. That photo can be seen on WTAW's website and social media. BPD reports one person was attacked Saturday morning and another Sunday morning south of Villa Maria and between Texas and Welburn. BTU crews dealt with a pair of power outages yesterday. More than 600 customers in and near the downtown area were without power for about 1 hour yesterday afternoon. And yesterday morning, about 230 customers near Caldwell lost power for 1 hour after a crash where a vehicle struck a pole. Way before College Station's Academy store and the development known as Providence Park across the freeway from Central Park was a 175,000 square foot electronics manufacturing plant. There's new ownership of what originally opened in 1983 as the Westinghouse Defense Component Facility.
The seller, Bryan-based Oldham Goodwin Capital, acquired the property in 2016 after lying vacant after Westinghouse closed in 1999. They're getting a return of more than 5 times their original investment, according to a news release. And Oldham Goodwin will also be managing the building for the buyer, which is a Dallas-based real estate company. 4 life science companies currently occupy space. News release did not reveal future tenants, and Oldham Goodwin owns 25 acres in the area for additional development. Bill Oliver, 1620 94.5 WTAW.
Some parents of Bryan ISD students were invited to participate in focus groups this week as administrators continue gathering feedback on upcoming campus boundary changes.
Each campus principal selected about 15 parents that they confirmed could be there and then work with the parent to figure out which night they could attend. In total, it's about 250 parents.
Associate Superintendent Barbara Ibarra says this follows more than 400 stakeholders providing feedback. Next month, BISD will launch a community survey and hold more focus groups. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Howdy, this is Steve Bledsoe, fighting TexAgs class of 83, with some exciting news. Verabank is now open with our new full-service location on Highway 6 in College Station. With personal bankers, business bankers, Verabank has everything you need in one convenient location. Come see for yourself, where genuine banking is waiting for you, and you can bank on it.
Visit verabank.com today. That's VERA bank.com. Verabank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Question: would you pick a chain barbecue place over a hometown joint? Do you root for East Coast universities instead of the local team? Nah, then why choose a big Wall Street bank? A&B started in 1892. 5 generations later, we're still owned and operated by the same Texas family. We support this community. We value your privacy. We make quick decisions, and we hate red tape. We answer to you, not Wall Street. Bank with A&B. Family owned, Texas proud. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on the Zone. This Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HilcoSupply.com. Texas A&M football coach Jimbo Fisher says quarterback Connor Wigman should be good to go for this Saturday's game at Auburn. Wigman was one of several key starters who sat out last week's 41-24 loss to Florida with the flu. Fisher added that the locker room is still dealing with the ramifications of the outbreak. And staying on the gridiron, kickoff time for A&M's game against UMass has been set. The Aggies and Minutemen will face off at 11 a.m. on November 19th at Kyle Field. A&M men's basketball opened up its regular season with a bang last night, cruising to an 87-54 victory over Louisiana Monroe. The Maroon and White dominated from beyond the arc, shooting 42%, including 4 3-pointers from Wade Taylor IV.
It's exciting. Second game we played at Reed. The energy's there. The fans are there. We're just having a different mentality this year.
Wade led all scorers with 18 points, with Henry Coleman III contributing 14. The guys are back in action this Friday when they host Abilene Christian. A&M women's soccer has drawn an at-large bid to the NCAA championship, its 27th invite in the last 28 years. The ladies will kick things off at number 16 Texas this Friday in Austin. To get Coach's take, tune into the Aggie Soccer Hour with Coach G tonight from 6 to 7 on Gospel 97.3 FM. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On the Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
Every Monday and Wednesday, you can win tickets to the Texas Ren Fest thanks to Bud Light. Lift up your cares at the 48th Annual Texas Renaissance Festival. They're open weekends through November, and you can purchase your tickets online at TexasRenFest.com. Or you can win your tickets on the Louis Bellina Show every Monday and Wednesday, listening to win thanks to Bud Light. The Louis Bellina Show is presented by B&B Automotive and Superior Auto Service.
I've been moving calm, don't start no trouble with me. Trying to keep it peaceful is a struggle for me. Don't pull up at 6 a.m. to cuddle with me. You know how I like it when you loving on me. I don't wanna die for them to miss me. Yes, I see the things that they wishing on me. Hope I got some brothers that outlive me. They gon' tell the story, it was different with me. God's plan, God's plan. I hold back sometimes I won't. Yeah.
All right, it's TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Here looking at my phone because our guest, Zach Blackerby, is supposed to be joining us here in a moment, but he is trying to get the link for us, so I'm going to try to get that for Zach right now here on the program. But as you heard, that was Drake's song. That was a request there from B in Austin, and the reason he chose God's Plan because in the lyrics it says there's a lot of bad things. They wishing and wishing and wishing. They wishing on me bad things. And isn't that the case when it comes to what has been happening here with A&M football? No doubt about that. Nick, help me out here so I can text for a moment. What are some of the big headlines going on right now?
The big headlines right now, well, I guess A&M basketball winning last night 87-54 over Louisiana Monroe. It's Pass It Back Day, so we just had Colin here letting us know the student perspective of things. So that was interesting to hear, and I'm interested to hear what Zach has to say here in a second when we get him on about Auburn. It should be on paper, it looks like a pretty evenly matched game, but it looks like we got him. So I'll get him wired up and send him your way in just 1 second.
Awesome. As a reminder, Pass It Back Day, if you want to be involved, it's a great way to be involved, by the way. Go to tx.ag/passitbackday. This is a chance for you to give back to this great school and this great community and the association. All they want to do is give back. Their goal is $5,000 again, but let's beat that. TexAgs was a huge supporter to them last year. Let's be all over it right now. Make sure you it's 24 hours of giving, so you don't want to miss out on your opportunity to give back here on Pass It Back Day. So if you're Auburn, you're probably thinking, win, here we go, finally break the losing streak. If you're A&M, win, finally break the losing streak. Both teams in shambles. One team feels a little bit better about their situation, I'm assuming, because of they're going to hire a new coach, and that kind of changes the future. If it's good or bad, we'll have to find out. Zach Blackerby joining us here as he's done on many times. Locked on Auburn. What's going on, my friend?
Hey, buddy. Yeah, it's a weird feeling about this game because I don't think either team is good, but it feels like it's a big game here on the Plains. Yeah,
it's interesting. So, like, we're in this storm, and A&M expected to be here, and they're nowhere near here. Obviously, they're the reverse of here. Auburn, I think most people expected it to be a rough year, even though they had some talent. You're in this storm. It's been over a year. How hard has it been?
I actually think there's a lot of hope going into the season from the Auburn perspective. In fact, a lot of Auburn folks were looking at the predictions from SEC Media Days and other national media outlets, and it's like, why is everybody picking Auburn to finish last in the West? And obviously they nailed it. Auburn's the worst team in the West. I think it's pretty clear when you look at the whole season of work. Maybe this Saturday changes some of that perception. We'll have to wait and see. But as far as weathering the storm, it kind of seems like it's done. Now that Brian Harsin has been let go, Carnell Williams, the interim head coach, has really injected a ton of energy into this program. We saw Auburn almost win in Starkville last week, and a lot of people are expecting Auburn to win this Saturday now.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I think at A&M, again, if Connor Wigman is your guy, they feel much better about the chances because that offense has been so good. But A&M's Achilles heel for the last few weeks, and really all season long, but really the last few weeks, is stopping the run. Just talk about how good that Auburn rushing attack is with Tank.
The running backs are outstanding. Tank Bigsby, Jarquez Hunter, one of the best 1-2 punches in the SEC. The numbers don't say that because their offensive line is absolutely atrocious. But if those guys can get any sort of space whatsoever, it's a problem. Now, I think with Carnell at the helm, they're going to be willing to run it a little bit more. Brian Harsin said that he wanted to run a downhill offense, a physical offense, but his play calling didn't reflect that over his little over a year and a half of calling plays or being involved in the offense, rather, while here at Auburn. So I think that's going to be more of a threat this Saturday. We saw a little bit at Mississippi State, of course, But to me, it's all about the offensive line. And Texas A&M hasn't been great, like you said, at stopping the run. So maybe there'll be some push. Auburn lost their right tackle for the rest of the season. Austin Troxley got injured this past weekend. Brendan Coffey came in, and actually the running game got a little bit better. So I think that right tackle situation is definitely something to watch on Saturday.
Yeah, we're breaking down Auburn here with Zach Blackerby, Locked On Auburn Sports here on the program. Also, he's on SI all over it, breaking it all down. So when it comes to Cadillac Williams, you mentioned that they're buying in. What is it about his personality? What about, because sometimes you make a change and it lasts, like the effects last for a game or two, but what about his approach is potentially could help out for the rest of the season?
Well, you mentioned the game or two. I'm predicting that to happen, right? But I think emotion can get you through 4 weeks, right? Especially when what you've seen as a fan or as a player or as a media member just paying attention to this program for the last 2 years has been this dry, emotionless presence that's been talking about your team and saying that everything's just going to be okay. I mean, that's what Brian Harsin was. And I think that could work some places. I don't think it could work in a place like Auburn where they're all about family and energy and just overall I don't know, positive vibes in the SEC. I know that sounds weird to say, but then you get Carnell Williams that comes in and, all of a sudden it seems like he cares. And I think a lot of people are really feeding off of that. The images of him jumping up and down on the sideline with all the other coaches. It's infectious. The players are getting it. The players are having fun again. I was told from multiple sources the first few days afterwards that, oh man, everybody's just so glad that he's gone. And so I think some of it is Carnell Williams. I think some of it is just, it's not Brian Harsin. And so Carnell, from a fan perspective, is one of the most beloved Auburn people ever, right? With what he was able to do in the early 2000s and a short stint in the NFL, and then coming back to coach running backs under Gus and being the only player that's retained. Auburn people love Carnell Williams. And so that's a big part of it, right? It's just people love Carnell so much and they want him to win. And I don't think Auburn fans had any sort of positive feelings as a whole for Brian Harsin for the majority of this year.
So I remember coming into the season, people were like, look, Harsin's probably gone, but the players that are left are buying into what Harsin was saying. So here we are. People are excited that he's gone. So why didn't it work? Is it his personality? Is it just the losing?
I think losing beats up anybody, right? Yep. I mean, you see folks in the northern part of the state, they lose 2 games and everything's falling apart despite how much they've won. So losing stinks, right? And at this high of a level, any school in the SEC, right? I mean, fans of you guys are talking about a $90 million buyout because, not winning enough. I mean, it's crazy what losing does to you because you just hate it. You just hate it so much. So I do think that is part of it. John Samuel Shanker, who's a team captain, he's been as pro Harsin as anybody, and rightfully so. Harsin made him a huge part of this offense, and rightfully so. I think he deserves it. But, him talking on my show this morning just about how the vibe is better. The energy is there, and it's something they haven't had in several weeks. So, really after that Penn State blowout, I think is when everybody's like, okay, that's done. That's absolutely it. And then the game against Missouri, where Auburn should have lost, but that fluke fumble in overtime allowed them to win. That, to me, was kind of the breaking point, I think, when you look back on it. I think that's when pretty much the team and the fan base started to say, I don't think this guy's it.
So bad teams lose games that they can win, right? We're seeing that here with A&M. We're seeing it with Auburn. Outside of the Georgia and Penn State game, really, Auburn's had a chance in most of these games. What has happened for them to lose? Are they finding ways to lose, or they're just being beat by better teams?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're getting beat by better teams. The scheme is really bad. Arkansas wasn't close. Ole Miss, I think, was closer than the final score. But yeah, you're right. I mean, Auburn hasn't been killed that many times, but it's just there's no hope on offense until like a few weeks ago. Robbie Ashford, the transfer quarterback from Oregon, he didn't start the season. TJ Finley started the season. Robbie Ashford has since taken over. And I think some of that is growing pains. I think Robbie Ashford could be a really good quarterback. I think he's limited by some of the things around him. The offensive line is really bad that we mentioned a second ago. And I think the scheme has been really, really bad. I think the receivers are talented. They just haven't been able to get open because the route patterns are stuff that a high school team runs. And so that's going to have to change this offseason with this new hire. It has to, or else Auburn's going to be in trouble long-term. But to me, that's it. And then they don't really rotate a whole lot of guys over the course of 60 minutes. They just get worn down, and 3 and out after 3 and out after 3 and out. Auburn's got a good defense, but statistically it doesn't look good because they're on the field a ton. And so I think over the course of these games against Penn State, against Arkansas, against Ole Miss, you started to see that. I thought that was going to happen last week against Mississippi State, but they rotated a little bit more. You saw some younger defensive linemen get more reps in there, as well as linebackers, and Auburn's been deep at defensive back, just depending on how they use them. But that's to me, it's been personnel and scheme personally throughout those big games.
How realistic of an option is Dan Lanning in your opinion?
I think it's pretty realistic. The weird thing about it is, the way coaching searches work at a lot of places, and it's definitely been this way with Auburn, and it's been this way when you look at what new Auburn athletic director John Cohen has done. He brought in Mike Leach to Mississippi State when he was there, and nobody really saw that coming, right? And there were some names kind of thrown out there, and then in the final hour, Mike Leach emerged. And it was the same way when Auburn brought in John Cohen just a week ago. Mm-hmm. It was, Nunez from New Mexico, and I'm blanking on the other guy from Utah State, Hartwell. And in the final hour, it's like, oh, John Cohen is picking up steam. And then 24 hours later, he was the news broke that he would be the guy. So in the sense of there's a lot of talk about Dan Lanning. There's a lot of talk about Lane Kiffin. Deion Sanders' name isn't going away just because Auburn fans really, really want Deion Sanders to be the head coach on the Plains. I think that'd be fun to see. I kind of get the impression that it's somebody that we don't really know is in the running right now. But I do think John Cohen and new Auburn president Roberts, they're not afraid to swing big, right? Like Roberts went to Arkansas's AD, made him say no, went to Miami's AD, made him say no. We'll see what John Cohen does when it comes to the head coaching search. I think Dan Lanning would definitely be swinging big, though.
So how much buyout money has been spent over the last few years at Auburn?
It's a lot. Over the last 2 years, it's like $54,000 a day, something crazy like that. Just a stupid amount of money. But I think some of the national narrative, because Auburn spent I think it's like $30 million, $40 million. It's a ridiculous amount. I had it on the show where Harsin got fired. I'm trying to look around my notes, see if it's here. I don't think it is. But there's a narrative because of how much money they've spent on buyouts is Auburn doesn't have any money to hire a new head coach. And that's ridiculous. In fact, I'm being told money is not an option. And I think that's what is putting Lane Kiffin's name on the table. And that's what's putting Dan Lanning's name on the tables, because they've got folks that are willing to pay buyouts if needed and willing to hand out hefty contracts if needed. So Auburn is, I think they're ready to make a move, and we'll see what that equates to in the hopefully shortly after the Iron Bowl in a few weeks.
So let me ask you this. Who do you think is the best fit? I mean, from all these names, rumors, and maybe a wish list, a guy that hasn't been mentioned, but who fits Auburn's culture, which it's different, right? And who can give them the best chance to succeed?
Yeah. I think Dan Lanning makes a ton of sense. I don't know how likely it is, but I think he's probably top 3 or 4 candidate. Lane Kiffin, not necessarily a fit, but is what Auburn needs right now as far as how he's been able to maneuver the transfer portal. Auburn's roster is going to be decimated after this season with guys going to the NFL or running out of eligibility. This is an older team, a lot of super seniors that are about to run out of time. So I think Lane Kiffin being able to navigate the transfer portal is very, very interesting. And Auburn's just desperate for some offensive scheme. Despite having their past 2 head coaches be offensive-minded coaches, Auburn really hasn't had an elite offense since 2014, with the exception of that 2017 year where they had Jarrett Stidham and Kerryon Johnson leading the offense. And so I think Lane Kiffin brings you something there. I think Hugh Freeze makes a ton of sense, but his name is so polarizing based on some of the baggage that he comes with. I do think there's a little bit of a double standard with some things when we talk about baggage with head coaching candidates. But I think looking at what Hugh Freeze did at Liberty against Arkansas last week versus what Brian Harsin was able to do against Arkansas with Auburn's roster a few weeks ago, I think that is, I think that's a good enough argument in and of itself.
All right, what do you think the game plan is this weekend? New coach, interim head coach there, Cadillac Williams, against an A&M team that's hurting, but you get them at home. What's the game plan?
Yeah, I think running the football is going to be crucial. We already touched on that a little bit, and just make the game as simple as possible for Robbie Ashford. And then on the other side of the ball, we saw Auburn's corners, and Auburn has a good set of corners, but they always use them off ball, which doesn't make sense to me. And so this past week against Mississippi State, they played them closer to the line of scrimmage and were a lot more effective. I'll expect that trend to happen going into Saturday as well. So aggressive on the edges, probably aggressive when playing a lot of guys close to the line of scrimmage, dare Texas A&M to pass the football, and try to run it with Tank Bigsby and Jarquez Hunter.
Hey, I know that Zach Calzada's done for the year and never really got an opportunity there, but what can you tell us about the young man? I know they don't give a lot of reports when they're injured, but just about his time there.
Yeah, well, it's his birthday today,
All
so
right.
I think that's worth noting. Happy birthday to Zach Calzada. No, I mean, I think a lot of people expected him to win the job going into the season, obviously, and then it was a little bit of surprise when, TJ Finley's holding on to the starting job, and then, oh my gosh, Robbie Ashford's ahead of him too, and then he opting out of the season to get that shoulder cleaned up. Sounds like it's the same issue that he was dealing with when Auburn injured him when he was at Texas A&M, which is a bit ironic. But I think they just got to get it cleaned up. I think part of it also was I think he could play, but I think it was a business decision for him not to. But I get the impression he wants to stay at Auburn, which I think is good because I think they're going to need him on the roster next year. But we don't really know a whole lot other than he's out for the season due to a shoulder surgery.
Zach, we appreciate it, man. I'll see you this weekend, all right?
Sounds good, buddy.
Take care. Zach Blackerby, who does really good work. You got to check him out on Locked On Auburn, and he's got many different ways he covers the program as well. Does good work. All right, when we come back here on TexAgs Radio, we'll get to some of those text messages because I know you guys have sent quite a bit. We've just been real busy with the program. We'll do that. We'll get to your phone calls as well at 979-693-1150. Right now, though, I need caller number one. We're going to give you a free car wash from Aggieland Express Car Wash in South College Station off of William D. Fitch in Greens Prairie. They're Aggie owner and operated with the friendliest staff and a personal touch. They offer a monthly membership. But we're going to give the first caller a free car wash right now from Aggieland Express in South College Station. 979-693-1150.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. Blaine College is hosting the Texas 10th Court of Appeals on Wednesday. The court will sit in session beginning at 10 a.m. in the new Blaine Rellis Administration Building. Find more information on WTAW's community calendar at WTAW.com. Brazos Christian School is hosting a fall fundraiser at Big Shots Golf on Thursday, November 10th from 7 to 9 p.m. Purchase your ticket online at bcseagles.org. Hank the Cowdog author John Erickson partners with the Bush Library to bring you stories and songs featuring his new book, Ranch Weather. There are 4 sessions, November 9th through the 10th. Visit bush41.org for more information. The University Libraries has a new exhibit at Cushing Library titled Charting Texas, A History of the State Through Maps, on display through December 9th. Auburn Saturday starts at 3:30 with the Game Day Show brought to you by TexAgs. Join Dusty, Bryce, and Louie from 3:30 to 5:30 this Saturday. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Start your sports day with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor. Weekday mornings from 5 to 8 on 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Or just tell your smart speaker to play Zone 1150. WC Tractors, your local award-winning Kubota and New Holland dealer. Call them with your questions at 1-888-8-TRACTOR. That's 1-888-8-TRACTOR. Or check them out online at WCTractor.com. Rise and shine. Weekday mornings from 5 to 8 with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max from ESPN Radio. Powered by WC Tractor. Here on The Zone.
Take your shot at the Precision Rifle Expo, November 19th and 20th at CCC Shooting Complex in Navasota, Texas. Try out the top equipment used by the best long-range shooters and hunters in the country, including night vision and thermal optics. Get expert instruction and take your shot on ranges beyond 1,000 yards. Many exhibitors will have products for sale. Aggie fans, get in free with your ticket to the A&M versus UMass game that same weekend. The Precision Rifle Expo, November 19th and 20th. For tickets, visit PrecisionRifleExpo.com.
For the best lunch or dinner specials in the Brazos Valley, look no further than Cooper's Old Time Pit Barbecue's Spud Special. Packed full of butter, bacon, cheese, and sour cream. Topped with your choice of chopped beef, turkey, sausage, pork loin, or brisket. All cooked cowboy style. Paired with one of your favorite homemade Cooper sides, beans and barbecue sauce for only $12.99. Experience the taste of locally Aggie-owned, nationally recognized Cooper's Old Time Pit Barbecue. Voted best barbecue in the Brazos Valley and proud supporter of Texas A&M athletics.
Looking for the Zone prize rules? Would you like to apply for a job at the Zone? Or need a phone number or email for the Zone? Visit zone1150.com. Would you like to sign up for the Zone All Access newsletter? Looking for podcasts of TexAgs Radio, The Louie Bellina Show, or Chip Howard? Or would you like to see the Zone's daily schedule? Visit zone1150.com. For more information, any questions, to contact us for everything and anything about the Zone, visit zone1150.com.
I wanna get numb.
Who's this? I like it. Tell me. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are here in the Rollo Insurance Studio, and as I've been telling you all morning long, it is the Pass It Back Day, brought to you by the Association of Former Students. Appreciate everything that they do. Check out tx.ag Pass It Back Day. tx.ag/Pass It Back Day. A great way to give back to this great opportunity for this university. A great way to give back to this university and to the Association of Former Students. Just make a gift at any size and invite your friends and family to take part. Spread the word on social media. It's a great thing to do. tx.ag/Pass It Back Day. They've got challenges, by the way. $12 power hour to the sponsor, a student and a challenge. You got the campus events. You got, obviously, them coming on TexAgs Radio. A bunch of different ways to help out. If you want to be a part of the conversation, you can call us up, 979-693-1150. When it rains, it pours has been the theme this morning after Anthony Hill decommitting, unfortunately. You can hear Billy Lucci's thoughts on that at around 10:05. We're going to get him on the program. Somehow we were able to make that happen. So good to have Billy on the program a little bit later. Let's go to the news and the social center. Emily Fiedler's got some text messages from you, the people.
Yes, so first we have one from iDoc Mike, and he says, I'm happy to see the Aggie basketball team off to a good start, especially with outstanding shooting. But what is happening at the Bright Complex for the past 10 months is next level concerning. What is happening there that causes Aggie football to lose two of the nation's best linebacker recruits after they verbally committed to you?
Well, I think Harold Perkins was just a different situation. Like sometimes you're not going to get all the guys, and you're going to lose. But this particular situation right now, look, there's a lot of outside influences out these young men. You don't want to go there. Their offense is terrible, and who wants to go there? They're losing all these games, and and this guy's going to offer you this money, and this guy's going to do this for you, and this university, the arrow right now is trending up. What happens if Texas loses 50-0 this weekend? They're not. I'm just saying, like. It's about what is happening in the moment. If A&M wins 3 straight and Texas loses 3 straight, what's the conversation point then? A&M's season, regardless, is terrible. It just wouldn't feel as terrible, I guess. Like, oh, we should have started Connor in week 1. That's going to be the conversation, right? So, but there's nothing we can say. It just sucks. And nothing can really change until after the season. So it's like a marathon. Just, take each step. Just got to fight through it. I appreciate those of you listening, not avoiding it, because, I want to see how this story turns out. I want to see what changes Jimbo does at the end of the season, because changes have to come. A lot of us make these opinions of people, and I know why, because we're not close, right? Like you're watching it on TV, you're hearing information on radio and social media. But like none of us know exactly how this is going to play out. Just like 8 months ago, none of us would have predicted this. I don't think there's anybody out there that would have predicted this season the way it's gone. No. I mean, could we have predicted 7-5, 8-4? Sure. Vegas, I think, had the win total. What was it, 8.5 or 7.5? This has been way worse than that. And I think most human beings. I'm not even making this about Jimbo. Most human beings, when things go real bad, you hopefully, if you're a freaking CEO type of personality, which head coaches are, you look in the mirror and you're like, all right, what am I doing wrong? What are we doing wrong? And how do we fix it? And I believe A&M has hit that point before this past week. It's been trending in that direction since App State. Much more evidence was given afterward, and here you are. Emily, what else?
Next, we have one that says, do you think the Aggies will make changes to slow down the run?
I think they're going to try to make changes to slow down the run. I think they have tried to make changes to slow down the run for weeks. Health is going to go a long way of minimizing it a little bit. Not going to minimize it that much. You know, if you get Antonio Johnson back or whomever, right, does that help? Absolutely it does. But, yeah, are they going to try? But Jimbo said it, was it yesterday? They got to start tackling. No more arm tackling. I don't know how that, how you get so sloppy. Make some real tackles. Pull them to the ground. Not even pull them. Just put your shoulder, I don't know why I got so graphic there, but put your shoulder pads into them. Put them down. What else do we have?
Next, we have Rhett in Orlando, and he says, for the first time in a long time, I have not been interested in what's going on in the football field. At this point, we have had every opportunity to succeed over the last decade, and this is the product we have. Hard to believe we will ever be more than a mediocre program that wins 10 games every 3 to 4 years. Here's to hoping we will be able to build a championship in the baseball program.
Yeah, look, there's baseball, there's basketball, there's women's basketball, softball's got to change. The golf programs are phenomenal. Tennis, there's a lot of good here. And there's some programs that are struggling, no doubt about it. Volleyball needs to figure things out. Soccer's got a huge match against Texas on Friday in the NCAA tournament. Would be so great to win that. G needs it. The program needs it. The university needs it. I'm going to read this one from Travis in Abilene on the YouTube page. It says, Nuño, I want to hear something else from Jimbo other than what we are right there. Even if it's true, I don't want to hear we have to get them ready because we know that's not very true. So I guess that's maybe where we're different. Would I like some different answers? Sure. Yeah. But, I just want them to win. That's my point with, Bill Belichick and Greg Popovich and just, Nick Saban. Great coaches. I don't care how nice you are if you're winning. If you're losing, I care, right? But if you're winning and, look, I do care. Let me rephrase that because I don't like the way some of those coaches do treat people. But, the messaging for us, yeah, would I like better answers? Sure. But the coach has been giving coach speak for a long time. They just need to figure it out in the locker room, on the field, and have a plan. It needs to feel real different next year. I'm sorry, we can't go into the spring game and have I don't care if it's a freaking hurricane. Well, that windy, right? We need to see an offense that moves, right? We do. That's the bottom line. All right, when we come back here on TexAgs Radio, we're going to talk to Morgan Weaver from KBTX with our weekly catch-up with our friends there at KBTX. Right now, though, we're talking about the Association of Former Students, and we've been telling you all morning long about Pass It Back Day. Hopefully, you're getting involved. There's so many different ways to get involved with Pass It Back Day. I really appreciate what they're doing, how they're doing it, and what their mission is, and that's to give back. That's what they wanted to do for a long, long time, and that's what they continue to do. Pass It Back Day is such a cool way to give back, right? You can give back any amount. You can post on social media with the hashtag Pass It Back Day to pass it back. You can find graphics there on the website as well. You can link and share comments on the Aggie Network, on the Twitter page. You can share your experiences. You can send personal messages through it. It is a wonderful way to get involved. And again, the website is very easy to find, tx.ag/passitbackday to get involved in it. And it's got a lot of challenges going on as well. You've got $12 Power Hour, you've got the campus events, and of course you can hear them right here on TexAgs Radio. And while you're at it, you can visit the other website, iamthewhy.com, to hear stories about the Association of Former Students. Big day of giving it back. Make sure you give it back. Pass It Back Day there at the Association of Former Students.
You never know who might stop by TexAgs Radio. Jimbo, Schloss, Buzz, Ross. It's TexAgs Radio. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 11 on The Zone.
You know us through the Aggie Ring and our work helping current and former students. You also know that we work to uphold our traditions and help bring Aggies together around the world. We are the Association of Former Students, and it's our mission to provide resources, support programs, and cultivate the experiences that you know and love. But have you ever stopped and wondered why? Why does the association support Texas A&M and Texas Aggies? Why are we always here, there, and everywhere for the Aggie Network? Why do we tirelessly work to ensure that the Aggie experience is both unforgettable and life-changing? Well, you may be surprised to learn that the answer to why is as unique as your own Aggie story. That's why we created IamTheWhy.com, a place for shared Aggie stories and unique perspectives. It's where you can hear the why, see the why, and discover why Aggies like you are the why. Visit IamTheWhy.com today.
Here's Brad Beard of Intercon.
If you have considered replacing the windows in your brick veneer home, you may have been told that it would be necessary to either remove the brick or tear up the inside of your window box. You need to know that Intercon replaces windows and brick every day, and we don't tear up anything except the window which is being removed. By installing windows every day, Intercon personnel have worked out methods which result in the replacement windows being at least as neat and effectively installed as your windows were when they were new. This means that Intercon can furnish and install replacement windows which exceed today's tighter standards for efficiency, and they look and perform just as well as the best windows in brand new homes. Call Intercon or visit our showroom, and we will furnish you customer references for homes you can look at, and homeowners you probably know who can tell you that Intercon can solve your window problems without wrecking your home or your budget, just as we did theirs. Intercon will furnish a free quote, and we won't pressure you to buy.
Whether you have new construction or an existing home, let the fine folks from Intercon help your home energy efficiency year-round. Call Brad Beard of Intercon today at 823-3639. That's 823-3639.
A moment now for Factory Builder Stores celebrating their new location in College Station, located at 11907 Welborn Road, right next to the Ashley Furniture Outlet. Factory Builder Stores can service builders and the general public with locations throughout Texas, including right here in College Station. And Factory Builder Stores has got great brands like Sub-Zero, Wolf & Cove. Factory Builder Stores College Station showroom now open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Old Welborn Road in College Station or online at factorybuilderstores.com.
Call it group therapy, if you will. It's the Zone Call-In Show, and it's brought to you by TexAgs. 30 minutes after every A&M home football game, you can join me. I'm Louie. Hi, hello. And Dusty. We'll take your calls. What just happened? Game day on the Zone all Saturday long is brought to you by T-Mobile, Big Shots Golf, Aggieland, David's Jewelry and Coin Exchange, Malik Heating and Air, and Gage Gandy Bail Bonds. Spend your game day Saturday on the Zone.
Hey, yeah, we fancy like Applebee's on a date night. Got that Bourbon Street steak with the Oreo shake and some whipped cream on the top two.
All right, we're going to make this a happy show now. I've been saying that. I've been lying to you folks for a while. It's TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Morgan Weaver of KBTX here with us for our weekly hit. You walked in with a smile. You're the second person today.
Nothing happier than me, right?
And you were like, hey, we had basketball last night.
We had basketball last night. There's nothing better than basketball season.
Did you enjoy it?
I did enjoy it. It was refreshing.
Yeah?
It was good. They looked good. There was energy. There was more people there than there was for majority of the games last year that I went to. So it was fun. The guys seemed like a fun team. The threes, there's 12 threes last night. I don't know. I mean, they were playing ULM. So, I mean, you can't read too much into it. But
no, but you know what, though? Do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right?
You're supposed to win those games.
So
you're supposed to dominate.
OB mentioned at the top of the show, you're supposed to beat App State in football. Like, you know, like, and you, so I'd rather this than the, you know, like.
I think Buzz said, I asked, I was like, what is your biggest takeaways? And he's like, don't take for granted a win.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah. No.
How long did you have to wait for the pressure? Because that was a long game. Because there was a lot of threes. So.
It was a while. So I think I got out of there around 10:15.
Yeah.
But the players came pretty quick, but there's always a big gap in between the players.
He does his interviews for radio, and I know he's got stuff to do.
I think he showers. I don't know.
Well, sometimes I got to do that, clear my head too. After every Aggie football game this year, I feel like I need a shower. So let's talk about how crazy, from your perspective, this A&M football season has been, considering what you thought they were going to be and what they really are.
I feel like the last time I was here, I was like, oh, yeah, they can win out.
I thought so, too.
But I think when you just see the record 3-6, it's jarring. You didn't really think, and if you told me in the offseason that was going to be the record at this point, I'd be like, oh, you're kidding. What happened? And so I think that's been the biggest thing that's just been crazy. It's just like how bad they've been. I guess you didn't expect it, and I think, like Jimbo said yesterday, it's just disappointing.
Well, when's the last win? Arkansas. That was in September.
I was there. Coincidence? Yeah. I don't know.
And you're going this weekend?
I'm going this weekend. If they get their 2 conference wins when I'm there.
Hold up.
It's the only common thing.
Miami? You were definitely around for Miami, right?
I wasn't there, though.
I thought you were at least there pregame, though?
I was pregame for Sam. That's the only pregame I've been to.
Well, they won Sam. They've only won 3.
Sam.
So they've won 2 out of the 3.
Mm-hmm. It's a coincidence, or not.
They better do it. So I I gave you an assignment,
Mm-hmm.
kind of an assignment, right? So like I remember my news days of always having to find human interest stories within a team, especially when things are bad, because you need to find something to talk about that's just not they suck. So tell me about some of the guys that you have profiled or learned about, either from being there at the press conferences or just in the preseason. Some cool, unique perspectives that you've gotten from these players.
Well, first off, yesterday was cool because we got to know Sam Matthews.
Yeah,
and he
cool.
was a joy. He was really sweet, and learning about his story was really cool. So that just off the top, I had to mention him because he seems like a really nice guy, and I like his story. But this season, I started, Jessica, the girl before me, started this a few years ago, but then COVID messed everything up. So for Aggie Game Day, I've been doing this series called 50 from the 50. It's just like a little walk and talk, getting to know the guys. I think I've seen every special teams member at this point.
Right.
But they're all just so nice, and they all have their own thing. Who did I have last week? I had Randy Bond last week, and he was a walk-on. He earned his starting spot this season. It was great getting to know him. I think I started with Connor Choate, the 12th man.
Yeah.
Great representation. I had Damani Richardson at one point.
Oh, that's a big one,
Yeah, he was really nice. And then we've got Nick Constantino, just all really nice guys. I've had Max Wright, too. He was really good. I had him before Halloween, and he said he was going to be Ron Burgundy. I'm like, that's fabulous.
Did you get a picture yet?
I didn't. I haven't seen it.
I don't think he posted anything either.
No, they lost that weekend, so you never know if that happens.
There is that.
There is that. There is the loss. Last week I did, even off the field, last week I interviewed the Kyle Field landscaping guys and just how much work they put into. I think Thursday alone they spent 8 hours painting before the rain came on Friday.
Oh, wow.
And they just put hundreds of hours into work, and you don't even notice it because nothing's ever wrong with the field itself.
It's beautiful
and they're
every
like,
time.
our job is done correctly if you don't notice the field. So it's a little bit of what I do.
So when you are watching highlights and cutting, editing your highlights, perhaps, can you see? Because I know you guys get a great view of these players, especially when Daryl's shooting and whatnot. You get some tight shots. Could you tell how much Haynes was hurting on Saturday?
He was like a little stiff, and he was hobbling a bit. I saw him. It was either Daryl or Nicole. They followed him off the field, and it was a bad limp. But Haynes is a warrior.
Yeah.
I just felt proud of him that game because I don't think there's anything more he could have done. Honestly, I think he leads by action, and I think he always gets back up. He steps up when they need him, and I think that's pretty admirable from him.
When you're the quarterback, you're going to get a lot of the love and a lot of the hate. That guy is,
He's gotten it all.
And Zach Calzada's gotten a lot of, got that last year, right? But I'll never question his toughness,
no,
right?
No, not at all. And he is want to. Like, he's trying.
Just need to get some wins out there, right?
Yeah, for sure.
What has been for you the biggest surprise this season? Because there's and surprise isn't always a happy surprise. A lot of times it's like, oh, really? Like, what has been your biggest surprise? A couple things.
Besides, they're not very good.
Yeah, that's a big surprise.
That's a big surprise. 22 true freshmen have played. I don't think that should be the case. Obviously, there's injuries, suspensions. You have a very talented class coming in, but there should be some veteran guys out there, and I think that's something this team is lacking. Also, the defense started strong. I mean, if you were going to say one of their strengths in the beginning of the season, you would say defense, if you were to point out a strength. And just, there's been no adjustments on defense. It's like their second half comes around, and second half adjustments need to be made. No adjustments are being made.
At least it feels that way, right? Or the adjustments
we never know.
aren't working.
We never know. Obviously, just from watching as a viewer standpoint, it's like, you did this the first half.
So I would say for me, not the biggest surprise, but a huge surprise is how bad the rush defense has been. And not that I didn't expect the defense to be the best in the league, because in the beginning of the season, they were at least keeping teams relatively in check scoring-wise.
They're containing a little bit.
Much better job of containing, but these astronomical numbers these last couple of weeks.
390 yards on the ground from Ole Miss, and then last week it was 290-something. I think I saw that Florida was 4-0 whenever they hit the 210 rushing yard mark. It's like, if I know that's
just run.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Auburn is really good at running the ball too.
Yes, therefore Tyler and I were back at the station, and obviously we run highlights. Not obviously, some people might not know, but we run highlights from around the SEC as well. And we were watching the Mississippi State Auburn game, and they look good. That freshman quarterback is mobile, and I think he led them rushing that game.
Right.
And then they have Tank Bigsby, who Jimbo Fisher talked about yesterday a little bit.
Tank he's a tank.
He's a tank. He's very impressive. So, yeah, you got to get that fixed before Auburn because you got to hang in there.
The other thing is, and it feels pretty likely that Connor's back out there. That's what Jimbo said yesterday.
Yeah.
And I think with him, the biggest thing is in a cloud of so much negativity, hope for not only to maybe win a couple games this year, a couple more, but really for the future, seeing him work out. He's going to make mistakes, and that's okay at this point. But gives a little bit of hope, right?
Yeah, he has this. I just enjoy watching because he has this kind of laid-back confidence to him that I think a team can really rally around and fans can rally around, and I think that's been impressive. And I just am excited to see what he can do. I mean, it's going to be a grind, and it's going to be hard no matter if he's in or whoever is in, because obviously you have Auburn. I think they can handle UMass. But with Connor going forward, I think you do have hope, and I think that's something that Aggies have no matter what, honestly.
Well, they do, but look, there's 3 games left. They have 3 wins. They need 3 to get to bowl eligibility. There's a huge contingency that doesn't think that's going to happen this year, and I totally get why.
Yeah.
But if you're one of those guys, that has to be your sole focus.
For sure. I mean, Jimbo's said it in post-game and then in the press conference, you just have to go out and win. And I think that they can go out and win, but LSU just has that momentum too. So it's going to be difficult. It's not going to be easy. And then if they make it out of Auburn somehow, handle UMass how they're supposed to, that LSU game is going to look like a Super Bowl game for them, and that's going to be a lot of pressure as well.
Yeah, and that might be an LSU team that's already wrapped up the SEC West, which is wild.
I know.
How about that?
Did you watch that Alabama game?
I cut the highlights afterward.
Were you asleep?
No, I was watching the Astros.
Okay. Of course. Okay.
This is me though. When things are going real bad for A&M,
you don't watch.
I don't care about everybody else. I do for this show. I have to do.
Yeah.
But after that game, I needed to I'm just gonna watch the Astros and have one thing in my sports life that's going well, and that was going really well.
Yeah. No. It was a really good game though.
Yeah.
You missed out.
I did. It was on your air, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to think for a second. I don't know why I had to ask.
KBTX.
What is the latest in high school football?
So, College Station and Consol are both hosting playoff games on Friday.
Already playoff time. Okay.
Yes, it's playoff. It's first week of playoffs.
Yeah.
And so they're both hosting. I think College Station is ranked 10th. Consol's not ranked at the moment. The final rankings came out. I think Lexington is ranked. Centerville is ranked. Franklin plays their first playoff game on Thursday.
Franklin's a beast.
Franklin, I love Franklin.
That's your beat, right?
That's my beat.
Yeah.
That's my beat. They have 26 wins in a row, first place, first playoff game on Thursday.
So you watch a lot of winning, is what I'm saying.
I do.
The couple times
you know where I went to school, so I don't always.
This is true. All right, last thing. What has to happen for A&M this weekend to come away with a victory? Put your coaching hat on, your analyst hat on. What do they have to do?
Stop the run.
If they stop the run, they win?
With Connor Wigman in.
Yeah,
and if you have a lot of those players, you have 31 players out. Can't diminish that. That's a big deal. So if you have all those guys back, you have Connor Wigman in at quarterback. Get Devon A-Chain going, because when he's going, the team is going. You just have to stop the run.
But they can't, or they haven't.
I know.
They haven't, and that's the hard. It seems like just stop the run, and I know they want to. They're not okay, but they.
But you saw Florida make second half adjustments. Why can't A&M do that?
Exactly,
because that first half they could have won the game.
Offensively,
yes.
Defensively they were a train wreck. But that's not a couple weeks in a row that you've just been embarrassed. But yes, you're right.
He's outcoached.
Even if you halfway stop, don't give up 300 yards rushing.
Yeah, what?
Give up 180 yards.
140 in the first quarter.
Yeah. They were on pace to do better than last week.
Yeah.
So, Morgan, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, David.
Appreciate it. When we come back here, a little bit more Pass It Back Day here on the program. We're going to have a guest, Corey Villanueva, class of 24, representing the association. That's coming up next here on TexAgs.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. Through various USDA-funded grants, the Battleground to Breaking Ground program provides 15 tuition waive spots per cohort for veterans, active military, and a select number of other beginning farmers and ranchers. Applications for the next cohort are being accepted through December 5th. Contact Texas A&M AgriLife for more information. Friends of Chamber Music announces its 27th concert season. Find a full schedule online at fcmtx.org. Do you need help with a Thanksgiving meal? Receive a hot meal from Thanksgiving in the Brazos Valley this year. Register by November 21st at uwbv.org/holiday. Submit your nonprofit event by email to news@wtaw.com. You can hear the Aggies take on Auburn this Saturday with the pregame show at 5:30 and kickoff at 6:30 on the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM and online at radioaggieland.com. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sam Harrison. I've known Bobby Gutierrez for many years. I grew up with him going to school in Bryan. He's trustworthy, he's dedicated, he's hardworking, and committed to making Bryan a better place to live. I strongly encourage anyone who cares about our community to consider voting for my friend, Bobby Gutierrez, for Bryan City Mayor.
I take great pride in our community, and I will fight for our kids, teachers, law enforcement, and first responders. Bryan has always been my home, and it would be an honor to serve as your next mayor.
Political ad paid for by the Bobby Gutierrez campaign.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Casasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Casasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
We're here with Jason Rollo of Rollo Insurance. Jason, when you say the difference is real, what does that mean?
Let's take the term real, R-E-A-L, rates, education, assets, and life. And here's what I mean. People think insurance is about rates, and although those are important, it's really about education of the product you're buying so we can protect the assets of people, and we want to do that for life. Insurance is about taking care of people, and that's what we mean when we say the difference is real.
All right, for more information, visit rolloinsurance.com.
On Sports Talk, we enjoy that smooth transition from football to basketball season. Point guard Wade Taylor tells us hard work in the fall has this team ready to go.
Coach Buzz has a game plan for us every day, just come in and work as hard as we can and control what we can control. So I feel like that will just carry on into this season,
Sports Talk from November through March and April. We'll keep you updated on Round Ball and College Station and all over the nation. Weekdays from 4 to 6 on Sports Radio 1150, The Zone.
Pass It Back Day, ladies and gentlemen. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Make sure you help the Association of Former Students, by the way, it's the seventh annual Pass It Back Day, get past their goal. It's $5,000. We want it to go well beyond that, so make sure you do that and help out with the Association of Former Students. There are multiple ways you can help out, but the easiest way is going to tx.ag/passitbackday. That's the easy way to do it. Corey Villanueva is joining us here in studio. What's up, man?
Sir. How are you?
All right. He's class of 24, representing the association because he's the vice president of student philanthropy. And obviously the Aggie Network and student ambassadors are a big portion of, or a big part of what you guys do. Tell us how you got involved.
For me, I had a scholarship through the Association of Former Students and kind of just reached out to me and said, we think you'd be great for our organization. So I kind of applied and I got into it, and here I am.
Where are you from?
I'm from Stanford, Texas.
Okay. All right. So I read this, and I'm interested because I used to be in the news industry. You want to be a meteorologist, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes.
What about the weather?
I really like hurricanes. I like severe weather. It's always been an interest to me. Whenever I was younger, my dad would always be like, hey, let's go chase the storms. And we would do that. It kind of grew my interest for severe weather and kind of made my dream for meteorology.
So you've chased storms. How scary has it been?
I don't think it's scary. I enjoy it. It gives me a thrill, but my mother does think it's pretty scary and does not enjoy that at all.
So I've had to cover several hurricanes and be out there, and I'm not a huge fan of almost dying. Not a fan of it at all. But it is kind of an exhilarating feeling being in the middle of news and the whole community kind of watching you. When you talk about meteorology, do you want to do it from like the science perspective or actually be on air and talk about it?
For me, I want to do more of broadcast meteorology. So I want to be on TV one day. I want to report live on hurricanes, tornadoes, and things like that.
Yep.
I do enjoy the scientific side of it, but definitely want to be on TV given the news.
Talk to me a little bit more about the Aggie Network Student Ambassadors and what you guys are trying to do.
Yes. So the Aggie Network Student Ambassadors, we're through the Association of Former Students. So our main goal is to talk about the Aggie Network and encourage students to get involved with the Aggie Network. And our main goal is to kind of grow the Aggie Network and make sure that as many people know about it as possible.
It's interesting because I think former students and current students sometimes don't realize the association is not just helping former students.
Yes.
They're helping current students.
Yes, sir.
What are some of the things that they've done to impact that?
One of the biggest things is they provide scholarships, so academic scholarships to all students, or not all students, but it's available to all students. They also provide the ring scholarships, and they provide monetary resources to each college on campus. So essentially every student on Texas A&M's campus is impacted by the association and former students that give back.
How did you find out that scholarship was there?
I got it. I just applied. When I applied to Texas A&M, I applied for the university scholarship on the application, and I got it, and I was like, whoa, this is pretty cool, like the Association of Former Students, and it opened so many doors for me and got me to where I am today, so it was really great.
So you didn't really know. You just kind of saw it as an option, like, why not? Let's do it, right?
Yeah. I really knew nothing about Texas A&M or the Association of Former Students when I came here, so it really just kind of opened my eyes to how big the association is.
Have you been a mouthpiece, if you will? It's like, hey, dude, you got to check this out. You got to get your scholarship on. Have you been kind of telling folks about it?
Yes. I talk to my roommates about it all the time. I'm like, get involved with the association, get involved with the Aggie Network. There's like so many resources, and they can provide so many things for all students here at Texas A&M.
You guys help out with the new student tours too, right?
Yes, we do.
Because I mean, that's really their first look at A&M for a lot of these kids.
Yes. Yeah, so we as ambassadors do help with those tours. We kind of take students around campus and their families and show them, talk about traditions and things like that here at Texas A&M. But yeah, so tours are one of the bigger things. It really shows the Aggie Network. It shows that every student is they're supposed to be here at Texas A&M.
We got about a minute left. Tell the audience why it is so important to continue to help out and give back here on Pass It Back Day.
Giving back on Pass It Back Day, it provides a lot of opportunities for all students here at Texas A&M. It allows us to get involved with our organizations and scholarships and all things. It helps continue traditions, helps with Aggie football, all things like that. Please give back, and if you would like, join us on our social media, Aggie Network AMB, and tap in on our Instagram from 12 to 3 today, and it helps us get funds for Pass It Back Day.
As a reminder, tx.ag/passitbackday. Corey, we appreciate it, man. Thanks so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, good job, man. Good luck with the meteorology and being a broadcaster, all right?
All right, thank you.
Thank you. When we come back, Billy Lucci will be joining us. Yeah, we got to talk about some decommit and some other stuff. It's TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Looking for podcasts of TexAgs Radio, The Louie Bellina Show, or Chip Howard? Look inside the Pod Center at zone1150.com. Don't miss a single rant, guest, or moment. You can download or subscribe to any and all of your favorite shows inside the Pod Center at zone1150.com. There's also a special selection where you can find select interviews from David, Louie, and Chip. Look up Zone interviews inside the Pod Center at zone1150.com. Download or subscribe, but don't miss out. Check out the Pod Center at zone1150.com.
I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but Miss Araceli, she gave me direction.
At age 47, Marco finished his high school diploma.